contact to contract, you've gotten a ton of contacts, but converting to contract has been super difficult. So this conversation about what's happening in Richmond is non-exclusive to Richmond. It's happening here, very specific locations. Buckingham we talked about is quite the opposite, right? But everything else is, if it's priced right in the right location, right features and condition, it matters.
So when we talk about adjoining counties, I mean, even in that, in Buckingham, maybe it's a bit of a one-off, being it's a little more remote, but Powhatan, Goochland, Louisa, Madison, Spotsylvania, Orange, these are all areas that it's still hyper-competitive in.
Yeah. I think the thing with Buckingham, the difficulty for us anyway, it's like split up to like 4 or 5 different MLSs. It's really,
I mean, and it gets bizarre. Like when you're just on the other side of the bridge from Scottsville, certainly that's going to be hotter than say there's a national park out there where there's nothing.
So in the department of who number 6th, right? Of my famous 6, who's on the other side matters. The 8 of the 11 offers, this was the first agent that responded to me for request of feedback, right? We lost it, please provide us feedback. And she actually did a wonderful job, and to me, puts her in the pro category.
Oh, that was as professional. Can I say that?
Yeah.
I can say this?
I don't know what you're going to say.
That was as professional a response as I've seen.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean,
Absolutely.
She did not have to do that.
She did not. I asked.
Yeah, that was legit.
I established a relationship with her. Maybe that's wrong. Business relationship. Mrs. Smith, we're good. Maybe not, but we're good.
We're
good. She listed out, right? Had 23 offers. Offers between list price and $475.7. Offers between $475 and $1 and $550 was 13. By the way, we were in that category.
There was 23 offers. Let me try to make this really understandable for the viewers and listeners. There was 23 offers on this house. The list price was what?
$450.
How many of the 23 offers had escalators over $450?
Over $450? All of them.
Okay. How many had escalators over $475?
13.
How many over 500?
550. There was 3 over 550.
Okay.
So it was
3 over 550, ladies and gentlemen.
3 over
and
550.
And we're not even going to make the statement that the agent in Richmond came out of the gate low to solicit this kind of competition.
I don't think so.
You're basically telling me that this agent in Richmond mispriced this by over 20%.
She did not. And
so, by the way, this isn't just this property. I have 6 other pre-approved buyers in the Richmond area shopping between $450 and $700 who this is the story every single week.
This sounds worse than Charlottesville. What's happening here? Now, are your six
for the price point? It's also neighborhood exclusive. These are people
West End, Richmond.
No,
really,
Midlothian. That doesn't matter. But when they get locked into a school district or a certain area or a neighborhood that they've decided that is ideally where they want to be. But the problem is, if you want to get into a like neighborhood or a like school district, you're bouncing back and forth to the. It's you can have this problem. In one area and then say, well, I'm willing to explore this and run into the same problem somewhere else.
So the reason this looks worse or sounds worse, we're literally having the same thing happen here. Just the volume's decreased. This neighborhood that this particular home in is called Bellevue. It's 1,500 homes, just this little neighborhood within the city of Richmond, right? That's just 1,500 homes. There's not a single neighborhood in the city of Charlottesville that has 1,500 homes in it, right? So it's just in the city, right?
Okay.
Right. When you get outside of that, what subdivision that has 1,500 other than the lake has 1,500 homes?
I mean, we've talked about this. Where's Old Trail?
Old Trail's
probably flirting with 1,500.
Yeah, I would say pretty darn close.
Forest Lakes is probably flirting with 1,500.
Yeah, correct.
Glenmore's 850. That's half.
Yeah.
What else? I mean,
so there's a half a dozen. 4.
Am I missing any here?
Are you counting that? How many? What's those townhome units right at the front gate?
Of Glenmore?
Yeah.
That's Rivanna Village. Okay. I'm not counting those. And they also have single-family detached. In fact, the first units are now trading in that neighborhood. The ones that were purchased are now trading for the first time.
Yeah.
And we're talking units that were built 3-4 years ago, where these people are making 25-30% return on their money in 3-4 years.
So here's the takeaway from the beginning of the Richmond conversation. And it's really not exclusive to Richmond. And I want to tie it into this contact to contract thing.
Mm-hmm.
Stay in the game, right? We're at number 11 for these kids. That literally, when I gave them the news, 10 minutes later, I had, what about this house? What about this house? What about this house? They are staying in the game. They will win eventually. It'll take us a little time, but they eventually will win, and it'll turn into a contract.
Here's a